Okay, let's get going. Good afternoon, everyone. So there's been a lot of questions regarding grid bots on the trader group, and luckily Lindley agreed to assist with this recording. So I'm going to take you through a couple of things quickly. As you can see, this is 3commas. I've got a paper trading account that I'm running. I've got my own account, which is the small account. Obviously, for this video, I'm not going to do my proper account. So when you sign into 3commas, you've got your dashboard, all the smart trading tools, and the grid bot. So click on the grid bot. You have the option of a AI strategy where 3commas will decide its own parameters for the bot, or you have your manual strategy where you can decide your own upper, lower limits, etc. So one of the biggest questions I got is, how do I decide my upper and my lower limit? So as you see on 3commas, I've got BTC running on kucoin that's connected via API. You can connect 3commas to several exchanges through an API. And I'm running Mana BTC pairing. If you go to TradingView, this is the daily. So one of the things I look at is on the daily, the upper and the lower part within a range. And as you can see, it's within this range since 12 November 2021. It dipped below, and ever since 16 November, it's been within this range. So it's not guaranteed it's going to stay within this range, but looking at the markets and how it's been going up and down sideways for quite a while, it's probably relative safe to say it's going to stay within this range for a couple of more months, maybe a little bit longer. So that's one of the things I look at, the upper and the lower. And that's how you choose your upper and your lower. If you set your upper and your lower, the bot will only work if the price is within these two limits. As soon as the price goes above or below, the bot will stop working. Never ever move your lower limit lower, because you're going to lose money. The upper one, also not really, don't move it, but if you want, you can. I've noticed if you move it a little bit up, obviously you'll make a little bit more profit, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So the nice thing I like about 3commas is you've got this visualization of all the grids. So if we go to let's say we put it 0001,005. So the upper is 0.001, the lower is 0.00005. Yes, 001, 4 zeros and 5. So on the day, you can see there's the upper and there's the lower. So that is the range that you work in. There's your grid quantity. It's the lines between the upper and the lower limit. So when you choose your grid quantity, this is all up to you. Currently, the grid width is sitting between 5.5 and 9.9%. So if you increase the grid quantity, obviously, as you see, the percentage will come down and closer to each other. And there's a nice visualization of the grid lines. Another thing I need to explain with the grid lines, if I zoom in. So let's say you start your bot right now today on this specific pair. This will be your entry point, and this is your sell line. Let's say the price goes up. When you start your bot and you invest 1 Bitcoin, let's say 1 Bitcoin, automatically it will take 0.5 Bitcoin and buy the opposite. So it will take 0.5 and buy Mana, and the bot will start. If the price goes up immediately, it will start selling as the price goes up. If the price goes down, you still have your 0.5 Bitcoin to start buying as the price goes down. And how it works, if the price goes up from here to there, it will sell Bitcoin. It will sell mana for Bitcoin. But this is a sell line, so it will stay a sell line. If the price carries on and sells again there, this line will then become a buy line. And the same is true for the opposite. If the price dumps, you will buy more mana. If the price carries on and dumps to here, it will buy again. As soon as this line is hit, this will become a sell line that if the price rebounds and goes back, it already starts selling here instead of waiting for it to get there to sell. So that's how the lines work. The nice thing about 3commas is you can choose your quantity per grid. So if you do 40 grids, you can see there's a lot of lines. And on this is daily candle, so you can see there is a lot of lines. So there's a lot of opportunity. If you choose 1 mana per grid, you will see your bot will use 0.0289848 Bitcoin. If you want to be adventurous and you do 30, your bot will use 0.08 Bitcoin to run on these settings. Looking at KuCoin, which is the other exchange I use, which also have grid bots, it's exactly the same. We'll put the low at 0.0005 and the high at 0.0001. The only difference between the 3commas and KuCoin is you can only place the number of grids. You can't choose the quantity per grid. The difference is you can choose the amount of Bitcoin you want to invest. So automatically, the bot will then take whatever you invest divided by the grids. So that will give you the quantity per grid. Whereas with 3commas, you can choose your quantity per grid. And if your wallet balance allows it, you can carry on and start the bot. So here's a bot I started earlier this morning for this video specifically. As you see, my upper and my lower limits is the same as I showed you here. And the grid quantity is 5.4. My grid width is 1.47 to 2.85. Here you will see a representation of that's where I opened it. I've got a buy line, and this is the current one. So as I mentioned before, if the current price goes there, it will sell, and then that will become a wait. So that's the wait line. So this line was hit. Now the price is in between the next sell and the next buy. So whichever line gets hit first, this one will become the opposite. So if the price goes down and it buys, this will become a sell. If it goes up, this will become a buy. Let me just show you on my...
A quick question there.
Yes.
Minimum trade size, is that what ultimately determines what the total capital is?
So yes, when you set up with 3commas specifically, it gives you the option, or it gives you an error message here that says dust trades are not allowed. So if you set up your strategy, so let's just do this again with the same pair, and we do the upper and the lower. Let's see if we can get this thing to show the dust pairs. You see, there it shows you must be greater than or equal to 1 mana. So that's the minimum per grid you can do on 3commas. With KuCoin, it also shows you your minimum investment must be whatever for this settings to work. So you have to adjust your settings accordingly. Once again, you can change your upper and your lower limits to whatever you need, and then you can invest as much as you want on KuCoin. As long as there's no error messages, it should work fine. Like here, you have to have one, whereas on KuCoin, it's just the amount you can invest. That's for me is the only difference I can see between the two. And just, this is my paper trading account. I've done another one this morning for BTC Mana as well. Obviously, because it's a paper trading account, you've got like $300,000 to play with. It already made 2 trades and it's on 0.03 Bitcoin profit. Just as another example, I've had Ethereum Bitcoin with an upper of 0.09 with a low of 0.06 and a grid quantity of 1 Ethereum running at 0.68 to 1%. And as you will see, this has been running since the 9th of January. So since the 9th of January, I've had this bot running on my paper trading account. And as you see, all the trades it's done is in profit. There's not one trade that's a loss. So I personally think you can't lose with a grid bot. The only time you can lose is if you adjust your upper and your lower limits and the price moves when the price moves out of the limits you've set. That's the only time you have to either stop and wait for the bot for the price to return within your price range, or you stop, you sell everything, set up a new one and work on a new range. And once again, it doesn't have to be the high, it doesn't have to be the low. If you are a risk taker, you can adjust the upper and the lower limits wherever you want it, depending on your trading style. If you look at this is also still within a range with a little dip below, a little pump above, but generally it's been within this range for quite some time. So your upper and your lower limits are closer together, so there's a chance for more grids, which will be a lot less profit. Whereas if it's the up and the high and the low, it's a wider range with a little bit more space between the grids, which will obviously increase your profits per grid. So it all depends on how you want to set it up and what formula you want to use and what advantage you have with technical analysis, or however you trade the best. You can use whatever setup you want to create the upper and a lower limit. And as long as the price stays within the upper and the lower limit and you have your grid quantity and your amount set up, the bot will keep on trading as long as it's within that price. That's basically it. Here you see it says dust trades disallowed. So it does show you on 3commas there is a minimum of 2 mana per grid. The nice thing with 3commas as well is it shows you the amount of bot usage, the amount of Bitcoin your bot will use for the bot. So that's quite nice with 3commas. The 3commas I'll show you has got a subscription. I am currently running the starter plan, which is $14.50 per month you pay for a year. The only thing I don't like about 3commas is the fact that you have one grid bot for every subscription until you get to the pro subscription, which works out to about $560 a year. That's where you get unlimited grid bots. The rest is all only one. So there's even a free version. We have 1 smart trade, 1 normal DCA, 1 grid, 1 options, and unlimited scalper terminal. A lot of the exchanges now start to do their own grids. There's futures grid. I don't know anything about that. I'm scared of futures. So a lot of the times you don't even need to use 3commas. You can set it all up on the exchange itself. I know kucoin does it. If I'm not mistaken, I think Binance also has a bot. I know Lindley, you might have some more information. I can't really remember on Binance if they do have a bot. They did mention something like that on the trader group a while ago.
I know I have used it for futures, but I need to check if it's in the spot side. For 3commas,
I
can
can't
you
even
pay in
remember.
crypto in 3commas?
Yes. So let's say I want to extend. So you can either use Visa, PayPal, or you can buy with crypto. So if I extend my starter, it will be 174 for another year. If I want to upgrade to the pro subscription for unlimited grid bots, the price will be $588 for 1 year. So that's quite a lot for the average trader that doesn't have, millions and millions in crypto. Some people prefer to spend that amount and make it back. You can certainly do that. I'm not advocating for 3commas or telling you to buy the subscription or anything. That's just, I won't pay that much for unlimited grid bots when you have it on an exchange for free and you can have as many as you want. I've had 7 running about a week ago and I didn't get any messages that there's a limit or anything. So I won't pay that amount of money if I can have it for free on the exchange.
And you sleep calmly and peacefully with your bots running.
Calmly and peacefully. Like I said, as long as the price stays within those ranges, this bot will keep on running. It will keep running for as long as you keep it running. Let me just do this so I can just show, because this is the 1 hour candle. So if we do the same setup and let's say we do it at 35 grids. So as long as you can see there, this thing has been running, or there would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, 5 sell trades already. And then obviously this would have been buy. That would have been a wait. Then that would have been a sell, a wait. And then that would have been a buy again. So it keeps working all the time. And you have to zoom in to actually see how much opportunity there is. Because if you look at this is a daily candle. So yeah, it looks like, oh, there's only two lines on this day. So the bot is not really working. But if you zoom in to the 1 hour and you look at when the day started, which was here. Let me just get my bearings. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. So there's already 6 trades I can quickly sort of count that would have happened during the day so far. And the closer the grids are to each other, the more frequent you will make profits, but it will be a bit less. Whereas if the grids are further apart, it will be slower, but the profits will be a lot more, if it makes sense. The closer they are, the quicker the trades will happen, but the profit will be much smaller because the percentage-wise between the grids is smaller. Whereas if it's a bit further apart, it will take longer to fill the orders, but the profit will be a bit more. So it's all just perspective. You have to zoom in to see how long and how quick it will go. And if you zoom out, you can see it's still within a range, so it will keep going.
And you'll probably have to have more crypto to start if you have finer grids then, isn't it?
Sorry, say again. You'll need to have more crypto?
So let's say I go 70 grids, I'd have to pretty much have double the amount of Bitcoin then.
Yeah, look, if you go 70 grids and you want to buy, let's make it the minimum, 2 mana per grid, you will need 0.01 Bitcoin for this bot to run. Because there it shows you that's what you amount for the bot, that's what it's going to be. And that's what the balance will be. That's the required, and then that's your grid width. So it's 0.72 to 1.4. Please also note when you do set up these grids and the percentage wise, KuCoin I think is 0.1% trading fee for maker and taker. Binance I think is the same. So always adjust that accordingly. So if it's 0.1%, your profit will actually be 0.62 and not 72, because you have to factor in the buy and sell trading fee per trade. So that's also something I look at when I set up my bots. So I try to keep it at about 1 to 2%. My personal preference for these grids. And yes, that's basically how it runs.
Yeah. Make millions
and if you
while
look,
you sleep.
KuCoin has 6.3 bots. And yes, like you say, if you set it up and you start it, you leave it. You don't worry about it. You don't have to check the charts all day. What you also can do to assist you is you can put alerts on TradingView, let's say 10% below your upper and 10% above your lower limits, so that if the price reached there, you get an alert knowing, listen, the price is close to my upper or my lower limit. I need to see what's going on with my bot, adjust or stop and sell and adjust the upper or lower limits, however you want to do it. That's also what I do. You set alerts for 10, 5% below your upper and above your lower limits, so that you basically press start, you let it go. And as soon as the alerts trigger that the price is close to the upper or lower limit, then only do you have to go back in, look, and adjust where needed.